Coming up, Peyton Royce is frustrated. She wants Asuka. The pipe bomb heard around the world. Coming up on this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Keeping it 100.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. Keeping it 100. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. The show, of course, brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. Yeah, I know a lot of stuff has been happening in wrestling, but I ain't gonna lie. I was a little tired. So there will be some things I will discuss, address as, but this was something, as y'all know, I'm a huge women's wrestling fan. So I wanted to talk about this because I don't know if too many people are talking about it. There's a lot of podcasts out there you could check out that's already talked about Sting. They talked about Christian. They talked about AEW and that botch fest of a exploding match. But I wanted to talk about Peyton Royce. So make sure before we get started and let y'all know that I gotta, run this ad real quick. Well, first, let you know how you can support the podcast. You can simply go to buymeacoffee.com and you can pay $5, $2, $3, whatever your heart can say. I think it's low as $5 actually. Low as $5. You can send us some donations and support the brand, and we'll give you a special shout out. And so also gotta let you know that this is sponsored. Gotta do this real quick. Today's episode is brought to you by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be contacted with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to include the Wrestling Realm in How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. All right, yeah, so ordinarily I would have ran that in the beginning, but I forgot to, so I'm just keeping it real with you. But Peyton Royce, she is super frustrated. She's not really happy with everything that's going on right now. She was recently on Raw Talk last night, as I record this on Saturday. Recording this on, why can't I talk today? So record this on Tuesday afternoon, fresh out of work. But Peyton Royce, she is frustrated. She went out there and said it like, I come all the way over to this country and I'm not being used. Now, she is a former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. I personally didn't like the fact that the Iconics broke up. I felt that they were a true tag team, and you could have ran with them. They could have got another title shot, They could have had another opportunity to wear the gold. I felt that when they won it at WrestleMania, it was a big deal. I know people wanted to see Sasha and Bayley. As time moves on, we realized that was probably the best thing for Sasha Banks because she needed that time off. The Iconics was right there. As we saw, she would help Carmella win the that was before. But nonetheless, with all of that, they just not being used. And, it's not fair. I feel like, how can you utilize this talent? Like, what are you doing, right? I saw something say, it was WWE, it said women's wrestling entertainment. That's what we want to see. We want to see the women wrestle. We want to see them go out there and be able to put on a show. There's no doubt about it, she can work. Why isn't she being used? I have said this over and over and over again. I'm not happy with Asuka's title reign. And it's no disrespect to her, not at all. But you had her beefing with two people who are the tag team champions, who are a makeshift tag team. When you introducing the tag team championships, Asuka and Kairi saying, okay, Yeah, they legitimately look like, okay, they were friends, right? So even though they were a makeshift tag team and we wanted to see Asuka in the title picture, it made sense, right? And Asuka was a double champion. But you had, they tried with Charlotte and Asuka at one point. It's like, oh, they gonna put the titles on them, Charlotte and Becky Lynch. When you had best friends in Sasha and Bailey, you got the Iconics, and then you look at NXT, you can put together tag teams. So I don't understand. But now, then the Iconics were split up. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? If there was ever a time for an angry rant, as we used to do back in season 1, this was one of those times because it just absolutely makes no sense. You have this talented woman. It's not like she can't work. And I was happy what she said on Raw last night. I'm going to pull this picture up. You see, she just looks defeated. Let's call it for what it is. She looks defeated. Here she is. This is her life's work. She comes to the WWE for an opportunity, right? Comes to the WWE for an opportunity to just live out her dreams. But yet, she's not getting that. And a prominent storyline. If you're not going to put these women in a championship picture, why not give them a prominent storyline? We see Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. They've been teaming up. Okay, I like that. That's a real tag team. This is why I've been saying over and over again, there's no reason the tag team title should be on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. They're just going to run through and dominate everybody. It physically, the eye test, it makes no sense for anybody to beat them. And you book yourselves into a corner. So, I know a lot of people have been getting on the women's division of AEW, rightfully so. Shout out to Jade Cargill and Red Velvet for tearing down the house last Wednesday on Dynamite. But the rest of the women out there, they are talented women. They're just not being presented right. Why should I care if I'm just a casual wrestling fan, right? Why should I care about the Joshi division? I need to know the stories. A lot of times people get caught up in, okay, I'm a bigger wrestling fan. This is a bigger wrestling fan, the internet fan. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back and take it. Everybody doesn't have the same equal level of fandom, right? Or the time to go back and do all the research. So this is what I was at WrestleMania 33. And this is the thing what I love. It may be annoying to me, right? But before every match, there was the promo. And you notice it different when you're sitting in an arena or in the stadium because you're like, wow, okay, this is the backstory. This is the promo. This is why. And it takes you into that. Boom, here's the match. That's important, So, but back to the task at hand, Peyton Royce. I just feel she deserves better. I hope she gets an opportunity. I hope this doesn't fall on deaf ears. That she will get an opportunity now to make it make sense. She needs these matches. She needs to score big wins over Charlotte. She needs to score big wins over Shayna Baszler or Nia Jax. Even a Naomi and Lana. She's going to have to score these wins for this to make sense. Because here you have a woman who hasn't been doing anything. If you just throw in the title picture, it's like, what? So, and this is the problem that I've always had with the way Asuka was booked in NXT. Because she ran through the division, then she gets to the main roster, and it's like she's humbled, but it didn't make sense. So, at the end of the day, make it make sense. Hopefully, we get Peyton Royce, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see. I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to this episode. Make sure if you haven't done so, go ahead, download the show, hit the subscribe button on all podcast platforms. As I mentioned earlier, if you're still here, appreciate it. Download, go to buymeacoffee.com. I appreciate that's if you want to support. We got some big things coming up. I know y'all been hearing me say that. But, yeah, I had a great call with the real Dwayne Allen. So, looking forward to it. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out my other podcasts. And I mean, obviously, I do promote it on here, but let me see, because I want y'all to see the graphic of my special guest that I had, because I promise you this, you will enjoy it, because it's a lot of wrestling talk in that pod, as I try to pull this up in the screen. It's a lot of wrestling talk in the podcast, and it's not coming up. All right. Come on. All right, there we go. You know how computers can be. Give me a couple seconds. But yeah, make sure you same place on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It's also available on YouTube, even though I don't really push the YouTube link. If you go to B Waters Productions, you can find it. But if this graphic ever comes up on here, there we go. So this is definitely one you will enjoy, as there it is, my bloodline, the one and only Britt Waters. As you know, she's been on the show a couple of times, and I've been on her show, My Wrestling Opinion. Make sure, if you haven't done so, check that episode out. Shout out to her for rocking the Wrestling Realm t-shirt. So make sure y'all check that out. Check out my conversation with her. You'll understand why we family and how much we both enjoy this business, as the Booker T would say. So make sure y'all check that out on all social media platforms. And I'll be back later this week to keep it 100 about something else, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, let's keep it 100. If Peyton Royce gets the opportunity that she well so deserves, she's going to have to make it make sense and kind of, I don't want to say run through, because that is not going to be believable. She's going to have to score some big wins. Let's see her score some big wins in this next month, as we are well into the road to WrestleMania, as it's literally 1 month away. Till next time, folks, I'm Brian H. Waters. See ya when I see ya. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. As always, hit the subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. That way you are notified every time we post new content. And make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Wrestling Realm. And follow me too at Brian H. Waters.